and welcome back to Without a Doubt, the podcast. I'm your host, Mad, a cycle breaker, entrepreneur, and a sprinkle of reality. This podcast is a place where we celebrate living life authentically and organically as ourselves. We're the ones breaking cycles, making waves, and living out their truest versions of who we are meant to be. Talking about money is often considered taboo due to societal norms, cultural beliefs surrounding wealth, income, or even financial status. Most of us just feel uncomfortable talking about our financial situation because we don't want to be judged, feel like we're being compared to, or just, privacy shit. Money is often tied to personal values, your emotions, your insecurities, and it's a sensitive topic for most people. Money talk is taboo because money stems from social, cultural, and personal factors. But why is talking about it so taboo? It's often considered taboo because with the societal norms, the cultural beliefs surrounding wealth, income, and even financial status. Have you ever been invited to dinner and you checked the menu online first to see if it was in your price range? If you don't do that, either you don't have a budget or you're not worried about money, so good for you. Back in March, I was invited out to dinner for a friend's birthday, and it was a pretty pricey restaurant in Brickell, Miami. This is a modern, chic, elevated restaurant where a dinner plate costs about $45, some of them even more. My margarita was $25. That's not part of my usual spending habit, but I went because it was a rare occasion where my friend was actually getting engaged and it was his birthday celebration. So it was a combo thing. I can almost guarantee though, most of the people that were at this dinner really couldn't even afford this kind of dinner either alongside me. Like, spending $100 on a solo dinner is not for me. But this made me think, was all of this just a show? Do we set up these elaborate things that cost oozing amounts of money to show what our worth looks like? Even if that means going into debt. Does what you spend and what you make determine your worth on this planet? Why is it that more people who have more money than us think that they're more important or more successful? Does this make them have more worth than someone who maybe is in debt, homeless, cleaning houses, low class, or just in general makes less money than that person? Is worth tied to money? How much you make usually puts you into a bracket of low, middle, or high class. We value people who make boatloads of money and we view them as successful. We usually think that they're happy and we want to know the secrets that they have, how they got there. But what if I told you that what they make doesn't actually determine their worth? I'm not talking net worth. If you want to run around using money to lure people in, you do that. But I think a lot of us low and middle class people find that icky and unpleasant. Worth comes in a few forms, but let's talk about them. The first one was net worth, right? You heard me skim through that. Net worth is literally like your tangible assets, how much money you have in the bank minus whatever you owe, your debt. But then we have inherent worth. Inherent worth is achieved through personhood. The idea that every one of us in humanity has the same worth. Rather, it's your race, religion, gender, health, status, wealth, whatever external factors. We do nothing to earn or gain this worth. It is inherent. And this is on the spiritual totem pole of worth. There's also expressed worth. We often assume expressed worth with like our upbringing, parents, teachers, friends. When somebody is clapping for you, somebody's telling you how fucking great you are. It's expressed to you. You feel that. And then there's achieved worth. It's directly related to our actions, what we achieve. It can be measured by our efforts in life, personal development, education, training, completion of different tasks and goals, or even actions taken to just improve our overall situation. All of this contributes to a sense of worth within a broader network of community. That is achieved worth. A lot of times achieved worth, by the way, is often like what we put on our resumes, autobiographies, or even, sadly, the obituary. What you leave here, your legacy. You see how different all of these are? Why is it that net worth is called that? Why is net worth even in there? Why is money attributed to worth? Sometimes I wish I could just go back to the Renaissance times, 1600 BC, and we could barter a piece of art for a loaf of bread, where currency was based on what something was actually worth to you, not a dollar value. Money is usually tied to our worth. It often hinders our ability to do more. If you can't afford something, it's going to be harder for you to attain it. Like college, for instance. If you can't afford it, you can get grants or scholarships, but If you can't, getting a second education is going to be out of the cards for you. That could lead you to less opportunity, growth in companies, or just an overall lack of confidence in any kind of workplace. This leads me to jobs that we consider lower on the totem pole. I put that in air quotes, lower, because I don't view them like this, but I have been in these positions and I felt these kind of ways. Kendra actually used to tell me when she was a physical therapy tech, so many patients would ask her why she wasn't going back to school to be a physical therapist. They couldn't grasp that she was happy at her job, that job wasn't really her end goal. It was like a vehicle for the next job. She was just working there to make money. It was a transition job. So many people there made her feel judged or less than, like she was dumb or lazy. I have shared this story before in another podcast, but I feel like this is so fitting for this. Kendra and I have done some temp work that landed us in super cool jobs, like being celebrity concierges at the Formula One races, but we have also worked other jobs, like working in the retail store at the football stadium. We showed up once with 2 big smiles, ready to work, and instantly we were just shut down and told, stand over there. We just felt like 2 imbeciles who were just told there to stand. I almost decided to clock out and leave, but Kendra, my little angel on the shoulder, was like, yeah, we should stay. You know, she's got all that self-worth. She's like, I can stay here. We're good, because we are badass workers. We do a good ass job. And we decided not to let the manager get the best of us. We were there to collect our money, side hustle. Long story short, after her sidelining us at the start of work, we ended up crushing the night. Kendra and I both crushed our stations, and we were asked to come back and work the next week. But we said no. We know what we can bring to the table. But the manager didn't know or even care at first. She just saw us as someone being lower on the totem pole. We were just a temp worker. She was a manager. But how you treat someone oftentimes is a reflection of your own self-worth. And I believe homegirl didn't have much, so I can't really blame her. What about people that have crappy cars? Do we think, oh wow, they can't afford anything, they must be so poor? Well, I have a Honda that has about 250,000 miles on it. She's a quarter milli. Do you know the people who ask me about getting a new car are often the people who don't have a job, or they live off their husband's income, or they just have a fuck ton of money and money isn't an issue. Like, what is actually wrong with my car? That maybe the front headlight is a little yellow and then some of the rubber is faded. I live in sunshiny state Florida where it is 5 billion degrees and the sun shines all the time. Not just that, but my car is about to be 15 years old. It actually is 15 years old. I have not had a car payment since 2013, and that has been a damn blessing for me. I own a house. Does that make me more valuable now? Like, I own it myself. Do you see what I did there? I know my value in society. I know my worth, and I know that having a car that's 15 years old doesn't change that. She runs great, and I love my little Honda. It was an investment in 2009 that helped me build my credit so that I could buy my house. It helped me level up my net worth. And now my Honda is helping me so I can save my own money and I can buy another property so I can have more net worth. Another thing, people tend to look down on these jobs, like those serving jobs, janitors, cleaners, farmers, fast food workers, stadium workers. I was one of those. Lawn guys, jobs that maybe you don't necessarily have to have a degree or certification for. I have been a server. I have worked in fast food. I have been a stadium worker, and sheesh, I have been shit on. But most people don't know that I constantly hustle, and maybe I don't always need the money. I like to stash my cash. I like to save my money. I was once working at the KFC drive-thru, and an old client, one of my old Orange Theory clients, came right on through the drive-thru, and he recognized me, and he was like, oh, why are you working here? With such disgust. But in my mind, I'm like, well, you're eating here, so that balanced out, right? They view my worth in that job rather than my inherent worth as a human. As a collective, we need these jobs. You need fast food workers. You need people who won't do those kind of jobs. And we should not look down or value any human based on the kind of work that they have. Maybe it makes them happy. Maybe they feel fulfilled. Maybe they're fucking rich and you don't even know it, and then they have those shitty jobs. You don't know. Also, some of these people come to this country as immigrants. That is what America is based off of. Immigrants, by the way. And we shit on all of them. We should clap because these immigrants come here and a lot of them are working their way to make ethical money. Let's talk about ethical money making, by the way. How does this make you feel like a good human being? If you're not stealing or you're not doing something that makes your money feel dirty when you collect it, then it's ethical. I mean, there are a few loopholes here, don't get me wrong. Big, rich, successful people may have met some serious net worth, and they have that for sure, but most of these people benefit from paying their workers low wages that are in other countries with poor conditions. Hello? That's not ethical. We have politicians who solicit money and coerce people to do shit that we probably don't even know. But we view their worth as more. Why? Money is not what brings us happiness. Money is what helps us live more comfortable, less stressful. I do think it's an American thing. We are trapped in feeling like if we have the newest Apple iPhone, which is money, we are in. We're accepted. We have self-worth. We think these materialistic things are what brings self-worth. But if you're relying on the materialistic things to fulfill you, then you're actually never going to be fulfilled. You're going to be constantly chasing the next big thing, like the next iPhone, the next new car, the next Tesla, the next this, the next that. Like, you're never happy with what you have. But what we actually have doesn't change your net worth. The new phone, the new car, the designer bag, I am not impressed by any of that. And if that is something that impresses you, I think you're not following this sense of worth. It's all crap. The financial aspects of our worth can help us to do better in the world. View this like this. Money is essentially a tool, not something we should be using to determine our worth. It can be a vessel to get you where you need to go, but not having money can be a thing that totally stops you in your tracks, leaving you in the dust with self-worth, meaning you have none. You can learn a lot from someone who is wealthy, but you might actually find more value in relatability to someone who doesn't value money as the holy grail. There are life lessons, there are stories, there's value packed everywhere, even from people who pick your fruit. Yes, I'm talking about our immigrants. You know, those are the people that we tend to forget on. Those people too have a story. They also make up America. Their worth on this planet is needed. They came from somewhere. They struggled. Their self-worth, they have their own achievable worth. Are you kidding? Jim John says you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, but a more accurate quote is, you are the average of the 5 actions you take every day. There's an article on LinkedIn about this, and I'm going to link it below. Grant Corden actually wrote this article, and he says, when you start operating at the massive levels of actions, your mindset will shift, and so will your results. A routine day will become a thing of the past. Make a commitment to taking massive action until one day it's no longer an unusual activity, but a habit for you. This, in my opinion, is actually what leads to more self-worth. More possible net worth, too, and definitely more achievable worth. No matter your job, your net worth, your idea of achievable worth, you are worth it. Your bank account doesn't mean shit. How you treat others, the kindness you show, the actions you take to better you. The shift in belief that you are freaking worth more than anything. Our worth actually starts deep within. Our worth is more than a number. It's how we feel about ourselves. It's how we do better. It's how we feel better. And I want to leave you with these. The first quote is, sometimes the hardest part of the journey is believing you are worth the trip. And also, you are worth it. And your worth is invaluable, and it is so needed on this planet. You are without a doubt a badass. Big hugs and kisses, and I just love you. Stay tuned for next week because we've got our final episode of the year, and I can't wait to share what's on the brain. XOXO, your girl Mad. Bye. Bye.